We'll be running through Tableau and how to automate your data lineage. So I've had the opportunity, it looks like, to meet a few of you here, but I'm Chase Summers. I'm the Director of Customer Operations here at Dataedo. Alongside of me is Dominic and Nikki, who is our metadata engineer. He's played a large part in developing Tableau within Dataedo and a lot of other functionalities that you guys will learn about at some point. And we also have Richard Monk, who is our data success manager on our Dataedo, or our data success team. If you haven't met him and you are a customer, you should definitely take advantage of that. But I'm sure some of you have met him so far. So from here, we'll head into the agenda and we will get things going. So we'll kick off with common Tableau challenges, and then we'll head into what you can do about those, cover some useful strategies, and then towards the end, we will cover how Dataedo comes into play here. So how Dataedo can help with those challenges and overcoming them. From here, Dominic, I'll hand it over to you and we can get rolling.
Okay, thank you, Chase. So hi everyone, as Chase said, I'm Dominic and I work at Dataedo as a metadata engineer. So basically I work on integrating our product with all of different data tools and extracting metadata from it. So let's kick this off from talking about a bit about common challenges in working with Tableau. So probably a lot of you guys works with Tableau on a daily basis. So I think that we can split up basically all of the issues into like two categories, because every BI tool is used by two types of users. So on one hand, you have the management, you have stakeholders, decision makers, all of the people that consume your reports and want to make data-driven decisions based on data, based on your reports, based on things that they see within a BI tool, for example, Tableau. So they need to have a trust in data they can see. So very often in a Tableau instance, there are multiple reports with conflicting metrics, and there is not that much trust in data that they can see. So this is the one problem that you should address as an organization. So increasing the trust in your reports, in your data, in your metrics. And on the other hand, you have BI developers, data analysts, people who actually build these reports and bring these metrics to the management, to the decision makers. So they need a way to debug their reports, because sometimes they just break, and they need a way to track data down and ideally track the full lineage of how data flows. Because when the report break, they need to debug it. And very often when a new person come in and they need to prepare a report, they don't know where to find data they need. So there's like lack of documentation. They can't find proper tables, proper columns. They can use, for example, some deprecated column or some deprecated table to build a report based on that. And this causes a lack of trust in data for the management later on. So these are the sets of problems. Very often the people working with BI tools as BI developers can struggle asking themselves these questions on a slide. So this is the set of problems that you encounter working with BI tools in general. So how you can fix that, how you can make these things better? Document. So documenting your data assets, documenting your workbooks in a Tableau case. So in general, reports, data sources, data assets. It's crucial to solve many of these problems I talked about. And what I mean by documenting, so I mean importing objects from your BI tool, so from Tableau, importing objects by using some automation, some kind of automation. So importing all of the objects from your instance and assign descriptive titles, assigning descriptive descriptions of a particular asset. Very often it comes also with we call them custom fields, but the idea is to assign different labels to specific assets. For example, to tell other people that this table is deprecated, you shouldn't use it. This column has some properties that you should know about when using this asset to build your reports. Also assigning owners to the specific reports or assets. So this is the idea of documenting objects. It's obviously not that easy to have it going because very often in the organization you have like thousands of reports, thousands of data sources. So it's not that easy to document them all. The idea how we suggest companies approach that is to start small, and like some documentation is better than none. So start small, maybe spend an hour a week or some time at least, and document your most important data assets that people most ask about, and start with documenting them. Maybe selecting a couple of people that are domain like that who have a lot of knowledge about some domain, and ask them to, for example, spend an hour a week to document some of crucial assets within your organization, and that will pay back in the long term. So what you can document in a Tableau, because we are today talking about Tableau. So there are workbooks, so the reports, dashboards, and sheets within them. You have also different type of objects that are more related to the data layer of Tableau, like data sources, custom SQL tables, database tables, so the relationship model, how they call it, so they're like replication of your data warehouse tables within Tableau. So you can import all of these objects automatically and try to document them more and more. This is about objects from Tableau, but you can also document data lineage in an automated manner. So data lineage is how your data flows from one place to another. So for example, you can have a data flow that starts, for example, from some source, maybe a CRM, maybe some external source from what you load data. And then they're loaded using some ETL to the data warehouse, to staging tables. They move on to target tables. Then you build some views based on that, and these views are used in some BI tool. So this whole flow is a data lineage, and having this documented is a crucial part when it comes to debugging your reports when something breaks, and doing impact analysis, because when I want to, for example, modify some column within a data warehouse or delete it, I would like to know what reports can actually break, and what changes this can introduce, like what breaks it can introduce. So this is data lineage, and you can document it from Tableau automatically. And how you can do it using official GraphQL metadata API. So you can obviously use a ready tool as for example, Dataedo. And I will show you later on how we approach that and how we do that in Dataedo. So how we extract and what information we extract from Tableau and how we display that. But you could obviously try to build some pieces by yourself. So I tell you a bit about metadata API, which Tableau provides. So Tableau metadata API is relatively new comparing to other Tableau products. So this is this is very comprehensive API that provides different metadata information from Tableau. And this is in GraphQL standard. So this is a bit more technical, but it's a different approach to the API than REST API, more old one, and like older one standard is a REST API. GraphQL is a bit newer. So GraphQL lets you ask about data using structure like specific query language similar to JSON. And you can ask about different parts of your metadata from your Tableau instance and get it using just single endpoint. So there are a couple of there are two requirements you need to meet to use this metadata API, and these requirements also apply when we are talking about Dataedo Tableau connector as well. So we need to have metadata API enabled. If you use Tableau Cloud, so previously it was called Tableau Online, it is enabled by default. But if you use server, you need to make sure that you have Tableau metadata API enabled in your settings. And if your Tableau is not licensed with data management add-on, this is like a separate add-on you need to buy for your Tableau instance. So if you don't have that, only admins can see like all of the metadata, tables and database metadata from this API. But you can change it in the settings. So moving on, this is the example screenshot from the documentation of this API. It's pretty well documented. You can get like pretty much every information from this documentation to work and interact with this API. It is quite well documented. You can use this URL or QR code to go directly to the documentation of this API. And this is the example of a query, how you interact with it. So in this example query, I ask about calculated fields, so I can get all of the calculated fields along with their names and upstream fields they use, and ask about them in this like JSON style using this query, and get a response. And yeah, you need to watch out a bit for this API. It's a little bit buggy. So we are working with this API for quite a long time because we started like maybe a little bit less than a year ago integrating with Dataedo with Tableau. So since then we have been working with this API quite a lot, and we found out that it's very powerful. It's one of the best metadata API that tools provide because metadata endpoints in different data tools are very often quite limited. So the idea of this API is super powerful and super great from the Tableau side. But sometimes it returns like some weird values that shouldn't return. So for example, it can tell you that some table doesn't belong to any database. That is obviously not true. And after a couple of minutes, it will return database for some reason. So it can behave sometimes a little bit unexpectable. So you need to make sure you protect your code base. When you try to do something with this API, you need to keep that in mind and protect your code base and test it a lot because sometimes you need to, for example, ask about some piece of information like a little bit different than documentation say, or you need to like check, is there a null value? It shouldn't. There's documentation says that it shouldn't be null value there, but you need to check it anyway because you don't certainly can trust this API every single time. but it's still in development. It is stable, but it's still in development by the Tableau team. So probably will get only better. And now I'll tell you how we use this API. So our Dataedo connector to the Tableau, it's mostly like 99% based on this metadata API from Tableau. And I will show you how we use that and what information we import and how we display that in the Dataedo. Firstly, I would tell you like a few words about how our architecture works, because I will show a bit of functionalities in web catalog and then some portion in desktop app. So we have these two applications, so desktop and web. Desktop is an application that connects to your data. So when you want to connect and extract metadata from Tableau, you use desktop to connect to the Tableau instance. It can be cloud, it can be on-premise, doesn't matter. And then all of the metadata are fetched, and all of the metadata is fetched and stored into metadata repository. So this is the place where all of your metadata sits in. And web catalog is a web application that allows you it's meant mostly for viewing metadata. So you can't do imports there. You just view and browse from metadata like that are displayed more beautifully. Okay, so it's time for a live demo. So I will share with you my screen of Dataedo web at the time. So when I go to report catalog, this is the place where all of it's like a separate place in Dataedo web catalog where all of the reports sits in, all of the things related to reporting. So it can be Tableau, but we also support SSRS and Power BI. So right now I'll go to Tableau. And as you can see, there are two like directories, folders, so data sets and reports. Within data sets, we put all of the things that are related to your data model, let's say. So there are database tables. So so database tables. So this logical layer Tableau adds that is basically like a copy of your data warehouse tables, and data sources. So all of these things will be imported as a data set. And when I go to data source, I can see its columns. And here there are. So you have different fields within a data source. If you have a like regular column field, the type will reflect that as well. But we also import calculated fields and hierarchy fields. And in data lineage, you will see like when you have a calculated field that is built based on 3 different fields from a different like database tables, it will be reflected on data lineage that these 3 columns flow into a single one calculated field. And the same goes with hierarchy field. We don't display like the formula of a calculation right now, so it's just a flow of a data. And this is how we import data sources and how we represent that here. When I go to database tables, it's pretty similar. So the name contains like database name dot schema name dot table name. And inside you can see that there are different columns with a type of this particular column as in physical table. Okay, so now we will move to reports. So in the reports tab, you will see your workbooks. So we import like one workbook is a one report within Dataedo. So this is how the mapping looks like here. And when I click on this workbook, we use this nested hierarchy to represent different sheets and dashboards within a workbook. So when I have, for example, here I have two dashboards, and when I click on it, I can see that this dashboard can have different sheets. And when I click on it again, one sheet contains different fields. So this one sheet uses different fields to build visualizations. So to show you how it looks like in Tableau, right now I'm an improving business workbook, and it has two different dashboards. And this is supply chain dashboard. You can see that this visualization is a sheet 1 here, and this sheet 1 uses different fields like year of invoice date, like invoice date key, and yeah. So this is how it looks like in Tableau. And when I go to Dataedo, it's a workbook improving business, and it's supply chain dashboard with sheet 1 that uses different fields. So you can also obviously assign different titles and descriptions for your workbooks, for your sheets, dashboards, data sources, database tables, etc. You can also like describe all of your objects as well, or assign different custom fields, like I said. So assign different owners, assign different like labels. So is this data set deprecated or not, etc. So moving on to data lineage. So we build automated data lineage when you import your Tableau objects. So everything what you can see here was built automatically, just importing metadata from Tableau. So I have a data warehouse that is SQL Server, but it works the same for Snowflake, for Oracle, etc. And it has different tables here. And as you can see, this is the Tableau layer. So Tableau has a data model here that is a representation of this data warehouse tables. So I have like wide word importers, DW, and dot schema, so dimension dot table name, like here, and it flows into data source, and then into a workbook. So this is how you can see it, and you can also see it on a column level as well. Okay, I think that's it from the Dataedo web. Okay, and there is also this neat feature of exporting descriptions from Tableau back from Dataedo back to Tableau. So if you describe something in Dataedo, so as I said, you can like add a description of your asset. You can export that back to Tableau if you have data management add-on. So this is the requirement here. You need to have data management add-on, and to do that, you need to, I will share my screen again. Right now, I'm in Dataedo desktop, and when I click on this is the imported Tableau site. So to make an import, you need to add container, new connection, search for Tableau. We have two connectors. So this is the old one, Tableau data model. This is the old one. It just document your data model, so your relationship model, so only database tables, only these things that are like logical representation of your data warehouse within Tableau. So this is the data model, the old connector. The new one is what I showed you. So including workbooks, data sources, lineage, etc. So when I click on next, you can specify a product. So is this Tableau Cloud or Tableau Server? And also specify, do you want to authenticate using username, password, or personal access token? And connect to a given site, because one connection within Dataedo is a one site. So when I have it imported like here, I can assign a description to my database tables column like here. So I can assign a description here. And then I can right click on a documentation and export it. Click on export. And then select export comments, Tableau data management add-on required. Connect. And it will push my descriptions for database tables back into Tableau. And then they will be inherited within Tableau by data sources. So if you assign them into database tables, there will be inherited by data sources, and they will be displayed as on this slide for your reports users along with field name. We also plan to introduce this feature within Dataedo to let you guys document, assign description only for the upper objects, and then inherit them down the stream using lineage. We don't have exact timeline for that, but it is on a roadmap as well. Okay, so few words about future development. This is already it's already done and waiting for a release of Dataedo 23.2. So in terms of Tableau, we added the support for Tableau Prep Builder. So this is a ETL tool built by Tableau that lets you create data flows and build your ETL inside Tableau. So in the next release, we also, when you do the import from Tableau, we also, and use Prep Builder to build data flows, we will import all of these data flows as a separate objects and extract lineage from that as well and represent this lineage within Dataedo. So this is what's coming in terms of Tableau in the next release. Okay, and that's it from my side. So Chase, over to you.
You got it. And so we'll talk about the plans now for those of you who are either legacy users or new to Dataedo. So if you're on the current Dataedo subscription, as in the current plan that we offer on the website, you do have access to the report catalog now. Same if you had the data catalog subscription, which is legacy. Now, anything enterprise or earlier, so a lot of the pro users data dictionary, you will not have access to the report catalog. If you are interested in that, we are happy to cut legacy customers a significant discount to make sure that you're able to take advantage of this and upgrade your software without having to pay the price that you may see on the website. For new customers, if you are interested in exploring things further, have specific questions, you can always reach out to Patrick at Dataedo.com or visit the live chat on our website. And for current customers, so you can upgrade to the plan for 23.1.1 if you want to go ahead and take advantage of this, or if you are on those legacy plans, you can contact Jonathan at Dataedo.com. If you like training, Richard, who's with us on the call, is part of our data success team, and he's happy to meet with you and train you on the tool. So I would recommend taking advantage of that. There's no additional cost there.
Okay, and also we started some time ago, we started a Slack channel for our customers. So together with Richard, we try to share their product tips, best practices, etc., and share features updates. So if you join, if you'd like to be there, there's a URL to join this community or QR code.
Just make a comment about the lineage diagrams. I do get this question sometimes, and that is why looking at the lineage diagrams in Web Catalog, you look at the object view and it might give you a large expanded view of the entire lineage like Dominic was showing. But you may have noticed when he clicked on the column level, it shrunk down to just 2 objects. The reason for that is simply to make it more readable. If you were trying to show all of the columns for that huge expanded lineage, basically it would be unreadable. It would be too much information. So if you're working with lineage and you click column level and it shrinks down to just 2 or 3 tables there, don't worry about it. That is the expected behavior. Just to let you know that.
Thanks, Richard. We'll go ahead and wrap up here, guys. As I mentioned, you can always contact us on the website as soon as I said that a question comes through. Thanks, Devin. Is there a way to see full lineage for a specific column?
No. So as Richard said, it is always like shrink down to sets of objects, so you don't see. So we're working on redesigning web data lineage diagram. So I will also bring this feedback because it's quite interesting to narrow down to, for example, a set of column that you will specify and then see a full lineage, but it's not an option right now.
Cool. Thanks, guys, and thanks for the question. So again, you can always reach us on the live chat through our website, or you can reach out to Dataedo at Dataedo for general inquiries. If you have support issues, support at Dataedo. Throughout the webinar, we pretty much covered any resource you'd need from a contact perspective. But we appreciate you guys joining in and looking forward to seeing you again soon. Richard, Dominic, thanks for walking us through here, and we'll go ahead and wrap up. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.